In PPT2, we have introduction, again introduction, the second introduction, and various, we have to explain the keywords which will be available in the inventory planning and control. Learning objective that, in which that, how will control the inventory, and what is EOQ, economic order quantity, means that is a quantity that we order it based on the economics of the company or economically, so that our total production cost or total procurement cost should not be more, should be optimal, should be minimum. The role of the inventory planning and control in manufacturing process, how the inventory planning control affects the manufacturing process, a continuous manufacturing process. Suppose you are going to the assembly line of the car manufacturer, or a assembly line of any machines, or assembly line of a scooter bikes in the factory. You will see that the role of that is a continuous manufacturing process, and that will be the role of inventory and planning control is very much essential, not essential, even vital for the thing. Inventory control. Inventory control should be a technique for maintaining a stock, the items for the desired levels. In other words, inventory control is the means by which the material of the correct quality and quantity is made available to it as when it is required, and due regard to economy in the storage cost, ordering cost, setup cost, manufacturing cost, purchase cost, and working capital. Storage cost means that is a handling cost. We handle the inventory. This is all explained in the PPT1. Ordering cost means the cost of procurement, like your manpower cost, stationery cost, computers cost, so mail cost. So the all is coming in the ordering cost. And the setup cost means you set up a machine for a particular production of the item and product. When you set up the machine, the similar parts will be prepared in a continuous way. Manufacturing cost, that is a production cost, total production cost is giving. Purchase prices means at what price you just purchasing the price for the raw materials, semi-finished product, inventory which is required for the continuous production system. And the working capital, the capital available for the operation of the functions and production functions, that is working capital. So this entire thing will be that inventory control, if you proper have an inventory control, it should minimize your storage cost, ordering cost, setup cost, manufacturing cost, purchase cost, and working capital. Delay in the deliveries due to the reason and surplus time to supply the material, industry can save the difficulty due to delay in by keeping the same recycled materials. Means if you have a delay, then not a proper inventory is maintained and delay is there in the production process, then it will be your product cost will be the more. You have to be your backlog material will be more. So delay in delivery of the stock items means your production process will be hampered. Whenever you need the material is not available on the stock, and it costs the production. Inventory control and regulate the inventory is essential for industry, because for a production process or for any services process, whenever you need the material for your use that will not available in the stock, then it will be the organization will suffer and the loss will be made. So the right amount of stock is available at exact time of the need to ensure the continuous and smooth production. Means whenever you need a material means this is a very crucial phenomena of the inventory control, that whenever need the material, that should be available in the store, and that should be made available on your production process site, so that your production process, your continuous production process should not be hampered, and the production will be available production will be smooth and uninterrupted. Second point is that to avoid the physical impossibility, economic impracticability for getting of the right amount of stock at exact time of need. So we have to see that there will be no physical constraint, contractual constraint for procuring the materials in the stock. Means whenever you need the material, that should be available in the stock. in order to the large quantity goods, material, components from the supplier at the advantage price. Means the large quantity, whenever the market will going down, we have to take a very much management trick that we have to procure the material at lowest cost, more material at the lowest cost, so that we have the procure the material at the minimum cost and the production cost will minimize, so the profit portion will be more. Next point is that to provide reasonable customer service by supplying most of its requirement from the stock without delay. Means whatever customer wants, that should be available in our stockyard or finished product, so it will be available in the without delay. Means if the sales is more, the stocks will be available for the use of customer. So our customer will not get the material, then material will be ordered at higher cost to satisfy the customer, but customer deny it to take and will go to the other place to take. So this will be a sales lost, or the loss of sales, which is the very much significant in the industry, the lost credibility of the company. So we have a very much sincere and reasonable customer service by supplying of most of the represents from the stock within delay. Next point is that maintain a stable operating workforce. Means we have a very much skilled force, we have a gang of skilled force. What operation will be there? So operation can be signified that this much of machining go to the or any part of the function. For that function, the skilled force should be available on the company. Take advantage of shipping economics. Means that whatever thing you are transporting the material or getting transport the material, the price, the cost will be involved in that one should be minimum. So we have also take a production trip that more and more material to transport it at the same time, the more material transported, then cost will be less, or get the more material to procure, so that the transportation of the heavy materials, all the materials will come to the cheap. Production cost will be transportation cost will be cheap. Next point is that to plan overall operation strategy through decoupling of the successive stages in sequence of acquiring goods, preparing the product, shipping to the branch, warehouse, and finally serving to customers. To facilitate economic production runs, means after total cost of production should be minimum. It make it all the cost, like start from your production cost, holding cost, sales loss cost, carrying cost or inventory cost. So all cost will come to should be optimal, so that your total production cost should be minimum, give a big turn to the profit. To facilitate intermittent production of the several products in the same facility, to provide the means for the hedging against the future time, price and delivery uncertainty. Means whatever the things is to be there in future time, the price and delivery has to be not be uncertain, so it should be make certain, to make the effective use of available capital and storage space. So that is a proper inventory control and planning system is such that whatever amount allocated for the inventory, for the procurement of inventory, should be effectively utilized, so that our needy material should be purchased at a proper time and we have a sufficient storage space to store it. So we will use it as storage space and the available capital to make the main production line should be uninterrupted and fast. To achieve the favorable rate of return by this process, if you control the inventory and if you could control the main production line, you have to achieve a higher profit and you can have a favorable return on investment. Means we have a whatever capital we invested, we can have a good return on the investment. Holding cost means holding inventory will always tie up with the capital, because material has to be insured, some of it will deteriorate with time and storage space may have been hired. Means we have to stock the many items or in many quantity. It is a material has to be all the cost of the holding cost is it covers the insurance cost, and we have to restore the material, we have to replenish the item, and the storage space may have been hired, so that some of it may deteriorate with the time and the storage space maybe have been hired. Now the inventory control, a very significant thing in the warehouse and a main company, so that it controls the resources and the warehouse, so that your main production line or your main production process or main service process will not be disturbed and will be smoothly running up with a proper operations. That a problem which always remains in how much material is to be ordered and when, means that is to decide that one by modeling one or by calculations. We have to decide that what is our material to be ordered, how much material to be ordered. Suppose we have to procure the gears, so the gear, what is the gear consumption rate, so how are the gear is consumed, so how much material is to be ordered and when, after certain time. Suppose we have to procure the material for the 3 months, so when we have to procure the material, so that the material consumes, the past material consumes, the new material will come up, so there will be no delay in the material handling. The manufacturing industry will definitely like to know the quantity of material to be ordered at one time. Economically, with the quantity of material is called economic order quantity. One of the model designed by a engineer from the West, that is how much material should be ordered, should be decided by a model that is called economic order quantity. Economic order quantity will give a quantity of material to be ordered at a proper time, so that when it consumes again by that time, if economic order quantity have a 50 materials to be 50 materials be procured within 10 days, then after again 10 days we have to the 50 material be procured, and this how it affects the production. Your production cost, your procurement cost will be minimum for that quantity and that time. So it not a bad effect on the inventory control. Inventory control should be regulated by a proper modeling economic order quantity, which will be explained later on in a wider scale. Economic order quantity permits the lowest cost per unit is the most advantageous. Before calculating the UEQ, it is necessary to become familiar with the term like maximum quantity, minimum quantity, reorder point, lead point, and buffer stock and stock out. So economic order, to understand the economic order quantity, means the economic order quantity is a very clear one, the definition. The cost of the economic order quantity permits the lowest cost per units and most advantageous with the consideration of economy for the company. Means if we follow the economic order quantity modeling for the ordering of the inventory, then we have a very low minimum amount of capital will be used, and our needy raw material should be available at the right time at the right place, so that our production line will not hamper. So before calculating the EOQ, because it is a mathematical modeling, that EOQ is necessary to become familiar with the terms like then keywords that maximum quantity, minimum quantity. These terms were the quantity standards. The minimum quantity, the term is applied to a designate the lower limit of the inventory and represents a reserves or margin of the safety to be used in the case of emergency. When the requirements have been fluctuating, there must be available list this quantity available in this stock. This minimum quantity, you tell it the buffer quantity or even a minimum quantity, that this term is applied to the inventory should be kept minimum to as a reserve whenever you have a margin of safety, that in the case of emergency, if you are not getting material, that should be used. So this is the minimum quantity, that whenever you need the material in the emergency, we can use that material. That amount of material should be available all the times in the stock. When the requirements are fluctuating, there must be always list this quantity. Means this, if the fluctuation is there, we have a maintain this minimum quantity, so that our work should not be suffered. The purpose should be hold enough and excessive stock material. The purpose should be hold to curb to enough not excessive stock of material so as to. So we keep the material in the time of fluctuation. We should not having the excessive stock of materials, because a main finance will be blocked. A portion of finance, a portion of capital will be blocked on that one, and that will affect the production cost. So we have to in the fluctuation, we have to see that the minimum amount of material should be available, so that we should not be hampered the main production line. Next point is standard order. It is the quantity to be purchased at any point of time, that is a standard order. Repeat order for a given product are always the amount until this is received. This is a deterministic model in a demand, that the quantity should be purchased should be known, and the time is known, then by what time I will repeat this order. So this is the standard order. Ordering point or reordering point. This represents the quantity required to ensure there is a adequate material for the interval between the placement of the order and delivery. When the balance falls this level, it indicates the new purchase order must be placed. Means the ordering point or reorder point, the reorder again repeat this order, that the quantity available between the interval between the placement in order and the delivery of that order in the warehouse. So the balance falls to this level, it indicates the new purchase order must be placed. Lead time. It is very specifically know what is lead time. Lead time is time taken for the stock to reach from the reorder point to maximum stock level. Means lead time is a time taken from the time of requisition of an item is raised till the supplies are received, inspected and taken into the stock. This much of interval of time is lead time. Lead time have a different varieties, different activities. So the different activities in the lead time, that the time required for the requisition, time required for the inquiries, quotation, scrutiny, negotiation and approval, time required for the import formalities in the case of imported item, time required for placing an order, time taken by supplier for making the goods ready, and the transportation, receipt of good, and the inspection and the placement of goods in the warehouse. The next terminology, that is a reserve or safety or buffer stock. What do you mean by that? Is stated simply, the safety stock is so many units of weeks of the stocks. However, this type of approach do not take the amount of the variation in demand. In fact, everything is done in the proper order. That is an ideal situation when order is fixed exactly at reorder levels, consumption rate remains same, and materials is received within the lead time. There is no need of reserve or safety stock. But this seldom happens. Means most of the production line having this seldom happens. Therefore, a safeguard and production process against the uncertainty in consumption rate and lead time, an extra stock is maintained all along with that a safety stock, and decided very quickly. A lower level may lead to the stock out position. Higher level means blockage of capital. Means if a so much lower level is that, then a stock is nil, then the production process will suffer. So though we have a optimal quantity have to be in maintain a stock. This stock out means a stock is nil, means we have no material. So the minimum cost should not be hampered in so much. Minimum cost is taken not in such a way that our stock out position will be there. So this will hamper the production line already, and at the same time we should not have a maximum level means blockage of capital, means higher level means too much of inventory we have procured so that we are not hampered. This means a high portion of the capital will be used, or a blockage of finance in the procurement of the inventory. And the factor considered for the purpose are the variation in consumption expected during the lead time. Means how consumption varies during the lead time. Means the lead time is that when a requisition is there and the receipt of material after inspection, this time between that one, a time interval or between that one, that is a lead time. During that time, variation of consumption expected during the lead time, and variation in lead time expected considering the prevailing market condition of that item. The lead time, the time which we control the things that is in factory, that we up to that we have placed the order, but seeing the market condition, labor position, the vendor will supply the items in a quite later time than expected time, then it will delay the item. So this time the variation in lead time will be assessed to see that is a optimal level of a stock should be available and it should not be disturbed by the prevailing disturbed market condition for the item. Next point, generally safety stock is fixed considering the past date of the maximum lead time and a normal lead time. The safety stock should there in the sufficient to last for the periodic difference between the maximum and the normal lead time. In the setting the maximum, minimum and ordering quantity, each item should be considered separately in the terms of the following factors. Means we have to consider these factors while setting up the maximum, minimum and ordering quantity, like economic quantity of each purchase order. Means we have to order a optimal quantity so that the more capital is not blocked. Increased lockup of capital, time required to receive the goods after requisitions, the probable depreciation and obsolescence means obsolete item, the rate of demand. These are the things, and again that the role of inventory planning and coordination in manufacturing company, how the manufacturing company will work. So imagine running a bakery and suddenly realizing that you do not have enough flour to complete an order. One of the largest clients, as the manufacturer of the baked goods, flour is the key component of your end product and is therefore a crucial part of inventory for all manufacturing company. Making an accurate assessment of inventory means the difference between the profit and loss. Periodical inventory of the equipment of the material should be taken up in every step to know that exact position, condition of the material tools of plant. It is a different advantage that any excess material not periodically equipped can be shifted to the other site. Before writing any requisition, previous balance quantity may be accounted and order may be placed what is needed. Any shortfall or damage to the material can be brought in the notice of the higher authorities. The repair and modification is a storing system can be done if the required cross-checking of the round maintain the storekeeper can do, and the consideration of the percentage of wastage of the various material can be studied and standardized to avoid the excess inventory. Purchase of the material in a stage per the production schedule can be followed to avoid the additional financial burden due to the excess inventory. Efficient management of the inventory is the goal of every manufacturer because inventory has a direct impact on profit, because it has a certain some capital is blocked, so it impact on the profit through an iconic statement item called the cost of goods sold, which is the value of the inventory sold for the period, and to calculate the gross profit, a manufacturer subtract the cost of goods sold from the sales. For example, if sales of the $1 million and the cost of goods sold COGS is the $6,50,000, the company gross profit is that $3,50,000. From this gross profit, the company subtracts all the operating expenses and derive is the net income. Therefore, it is important for manufacturer to accurately record its cost of goods sold. Keywords that carrying cost, holding cost, which is already explained earlier, that cost of maintaining one unit of item in the stock per unit of time, means this is that any item is there to maintain 1 unit of that item at per unit time, means 1 year, how much cost will be incurred. That is your carrying cost or holding cost. Decoupling means use of inventory to break apart operations so that one operation supply to the independent of the another supply. Delivery lag, time taken to receive the material for the use. Since time is the need was filled, this is known as a lead time. Deterministic means fixed, that is fixed, and probabilistic means varying. Economic order quantity, the order quantity minimize the total inventory cost. Again, I am repeating that one so that it comes to your memory very fast. Holding cost, same as a carrying cost. Inventory means a stock of goods and stocks. Inventory control, technique of maintaining of the stock items at desired level. Lead time, same as a delivery tag. Lot size, size of the purchase and use of the production during the cycle period. multi-accounts inventories, products stored at various level in factory and warehouse, retailer, customer, in the distribution process to customer. Ordering cost, the cost associated with the placing an order. It includes postage, stationery, telephones cost, and the vendors, labor, and the computer cost, and so on. Procurement cost, the same as the ordering cost. Replacement cost, same as the ordering cost. Safety cost, these are the keywords of the one cost is named by the different names. So the procurement cost, ordering cost is same, replacement cost and ordering cost is same. Safety stock means extra stock needed to compensate for the variation and demand and supply. Setup cost, the cost related to setting a machine to start the production. Shortage cost, these costs are set with the demand when the stock have been depleted, generally known as a lost sales cost or a back order cost, which include the goodwill cost, idle labor cost, and idle machine cost, and the loss of the sales. This will be losing the credibility of the manufacturer in the market. A summary that what we have described, the modality like economic order quantity, reorder point, your quantity standards, lead point have been discussed here. The attempt here to give a clear conception of inventory and its controlling, planning and controlling so as to enable you to understand the models which are explained through the different illustrated examples. I think this is the concept and the basic concept and the basic theory for how much order and when to be ordered and what are the terminology associated with this one economic order quantity have been explained to you.